Hey everyone, it's Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com, and today we are live in Warbirds. This is an online flight simulator from World War II. Maybe you've heard of it. I know that I have flown this sim over the years. And so today we're joined by the Colonel. Now, you're Wild Bill. I also am calling you the Colonel. What is the correct way to be respectful of your rank, Colonel?
Well, I am a retired Air Force colonel. I loved it. I got to fly real airplanes and get a little green paycheck that says I retired after 23 years of service. So if my friends call me Wild Bill, you're welcome to do that. And a lot of people like to say, hey, Colonel, because they know I'm old and retired and not really good at golf anymore. So
Gotcha.
Call me whatever you like.
Now, we're online right now. You're looking at one of the first pages you're going to see when you join Warbirds. And you're going to have a country, and this map, the colors on the map go along with the country color, then fields, and you'll see all these numbers on the map as well. Anyone correct me as we go. And what I'm going to do for all of us in the video is we're going to ride along with Swanee.
I think you want to know one more thing on this map. You can choose a bomber, you can choose a fighter, you can choose one of the ground vehicles. So this map gives you lots of choices. And then also on this map, you can choose the loadout of whatever kind of vehicle or weapon you're using, from bombs to rockets to cannon.
So I'm moving my mouse around up here, or some of the buttons where you can pick what you're flying. And then this is the drop down that'll show you the vehicle or the plane. And then your loadout occurs over here. And when you're ready to go, you hit the green button.
One of the things we also do, Jim, and this is you can see where enemy aircraft are on this map. We can see what fields are on your side and the other side, because we plan a lot of missions from this map. It also, if you click on one of the buttons there on the left side, you can see if it's an airfield, it's opposed to what kind of target you're aiming for.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I have submitted my request, Swanee. Hopefully you've got that.
Yes, I might have to be in flight for you to join up.
Okay.
Hang on, let me get on the runway here. Okay, I'm currently on the runway. We might need to send that again.
Nope, I'm in your cockpit. So I'm now an observer. You're seeing what Swanee is seeing.
And what airplane are you in, Swanee?
This is the Corsair F4U-1 Delta. And I've got a loadout of 500-pound bombs and rockets. And our target is going to be to the south. I'm going to go to field 23 and hit some hard targets there. So it'll be probably about a 3-minute flight. So I'm rolling right now.
As some of your people might know, Jim, this is the Bob Black Sheep Happy Boyington airplane.
Awesome.
User joined your channel.
It's a carrier-based airplane, and it had a pretty good record in World War II. It is a little squirrely at low speeds, but it's a pretty good air machine.
One thing to note is all the instruments that you're seeing in the cluster in front of us are real. Well, they're real in the fact that they actually are showing you correct information in the world that you're in right now.
One of the things for new pilots as you're rolling with this airplane, it had a huge radial engine, and therefore you've got to manage the rudder or it won't stay down the run. Now, Swanee's an expert, but I think newbies need to put that power up slowly and get control and get some airspeed before that rudder will throw you right off the runway. Over.
Yeah, Corsair's a great utility fighter for ground attack, and it'll also hold its own air-to-air. So you do need to keep it in a boom and zoom type of atmosphere, meaning, move in quick and get out quick. Don't get in real tight turning fights with opponents like might be in a Zero or a Japanese fighter that would be a little bit tighter turning than this. You rely on the power in this airplane.
What you're looking at me do now is I've gone into settings and I've turned the motor noise down. You can control all the aspects through settings or the help. I'm going to save changes and jump back out.
Okay, it looks like 23 is still open. So I'm going to head down there. It's probably another 10 miles to the south. I'm going to climb up to about 5,000 feet. That's a good spot, AGL, to make my approach into the hard targets. And I'll drop bombs first and then come back for another run with my rockets and finish things up. I'm not sure exactly what's left it yet, so we'll see when we get there.
We're going to jump out of the cockpit and take a look at this bird.
Beautiful air machine, isn't it? One of the things I always like to point out here is when we fly real events, you can't jump out in the outside view. You can only do it from the inside view because we fly from the cockpit in Warbirds.
So let's take a look at. I'm going to turn this plane down a little bit more.
Where'd you take off from, Swanee?
Field 16, headed south to Field 23. I'm just about feet dry north of Field 23.
Roger.
Glad to have you, Weiss.
Glad to be back.
So some of the views you do have from the cockpit are over the wings. You can look up, and you can look over your shoulder as well.
Very important when a new player comes to get with the trainers. Weiss is a trainer who just joined us, and they help you set up the views, because if you lose sight, you lose the fight.
Yeah, I'm leveling off here a little over 5,000 feet. I'm going to make my approach. I'm going to make a left bank turn, almost a barrel roll down towards the target. I'm going to take out the docks right now first.
Now he has to choose bombs. You'll notice on the cockpit there's an indicator that shows that whether he's got bombs and set up as on his secondary weapons. Since he's bombs and rockets, he could have either one of those to be shot by his secondary trigger.
I'm making my approach now. I'll be dropping 2 500-pounders on the dock area here. Away bombs. Pulling out.
You can jump outside and turn your view to the back, and you can see the explosions, Jim.
You can see if you look off of my 5 o'clock view, you can see them. I'm going to make a turn here. You'll see where the damage is done.
So whenever there is fire coming up at your craft from the ground, there you go. It's a beauty shot. Is there somebody actually manning the gun that's shooting at you from the ground, or are there drone guns?
The largest percentage will be AI guns, but when we're attacking a field and the other side knows you're attacking, they can jump right in those 40s and 20s and 88s and shoot at you. And they're much more accurate than the AI guns. So when you get a bunch of guys who defend the field, they'll shoot you.
Yeah, and they can also up in GVs, ground vehicles, and they have anti-aircraft guns on board. And I'm going to go for this large square building here with my rockets. Hopefully the AC won't take me out.
When I was waiting for you to come on, Bill, I was in a ground vehicle shooting at enemy planes.
Oh, okay. Just got hit by the AC, so.
Oh.
You going to punch out?
Yeah, I can punch out. You can see what that entails. So you 3 hits on the inner key will make you bail out.
That act must be tough, Swanee.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. It wasn't suppressed before I got in there. I wanted to kind of show you guys how the rockets worked on that thing.
So while
the nice thing is you punch out. Everybody survives in Warbirds, even if there's a massive explosion. You go back and start again, but you have to go back to your base and get another airplane because Weiser's on his way here, and maybe you should jump into Wise's airplane.
I'll do it. So,
yeah.
Swanee, that was awesome. Colonel, can you tell us about the early days of this flight sim and where we're at today? I know that I had to do an update when I jumped on tonight.
Well, this actually came out in 1995 in December. It was played by 3 whole people. It was an earlier game called Air Warrior, and the folks that built this one had worked on Air Warrior and then decided to do their own. And they really didn't make it financially, but I loved the product. And when Interactive Magic was young, we had raised a fair amount of money, and I've had a bunch of money left over from the Microprose days. So I used some of the Microprose money, which was my first game company that did F-15 Strike Eagle, F-19 Stealth Fighter, Gunship, Silent Service, Civilization, all those great games. And I bought the company and this game. And that was in 1997. We were on version 1.5 or something like that. Version 2.0 was a big update. And we've been updating it almost every month since 1997 when we got it. Early days, it was $2 an hour.
Wow.
And when you played, though, Air Warrior in the early days, it was $12 an hour during the day and $6 an hour after 6 o'clock.
Ooh, I'd be in trouble.
Lots of people were, and that was we did it on CompuServe and all those old services. And I think in about 2000, maybe 98, 99, we went to the pricing we have now. Maybe that was early 2000s where we got rid of. It was maybe 2003. We got rid of the hourly charge, and just went to a standard $13.95 charge. And that's unlimited gas, unlimited bullets, unlimited lives, for regular 24/7 play.
Let's talk. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was talking to my wife about this over dinner, and I said the thing that I am really amazed at is the camaraderie and the amount of time some of these pilots have been on this sim. Let's talk about some of the squadrons you've been on and how many years some of these guys have been on this game.
Okay, Swanee, how long you been here?
Gosh, I came in around 1998, so first couple
He
years.
was
Still,
12.
I'm on a
12
Macintosh,
then.
which is a beautiful thing that these guys make a play available to Macintosh users, which a lot of flight sims do not. So I was able to get on board here. Fell in love with it first day out. Got my first kill, got all excited, and it was. From there on, I was just having a great time with it, and I was in when it was still 2D graphics before they had really come out with the 3D graphics on it. So I've been through the whole experience from pretty much almost day one. Been with my squad, which is New World Order. They hired me or recruited me right out. One of the first ones to give me an invite, and I've been with them ever since. And for the S3s, I fly with the American Eagles. The S3s, I don't know if you're familiar with how those setups are, Billy, but that's more of a realistic than getting in the main here. We have pretty, set up missions. Pretty much flies in real time, one life, a lot of coordination. Those are a lot of fun.
But one life means you die on takeoff, you're done for the night.
Wow. So you got to be good.
It's
so
more
people
intense.
Are very careful.
So you'll have 30 minutes of boring flight time and 5 minutes of chaos and total high energy, and then back to flying home again. And it's just basically to mimic what a real fighter pilot would have gone through.
Well, yeah, and bringing yourself back with one lung not working right, or your tail shot up, or ailerons missing, you're sweating bullets trying to get back. I'll give you one more example though. Weiss, how long you been here, Weiser?
Same here, about 98.
And Weiser works for the federal government, and he's been a trainer for a long time, and he and I were in the 4th Fighter Group for a long time. He's gone and started a new squad. We have squads from 75 countries. We have, in the 4th Fighter Group that Weiss and I were in for a while, we got guys from Brazil, we got guys from, where is he from? Sweden, where Robert's from. We got Californians, we got Virginians, we got North Carolina, we got them from all over. And one of the best stories was I was in London on one of our IPO in '98, and I fired up the game in front of a bunch of investment bankers, and I started playing. A guy in Japan got on, started playing with him. I asked him who he was, where he was from. He was one of my classmates from the Wharton School who was playing Warbirds from Japan, and I didn't even know who it was until we just happened to hook up together.
That's crazy. Now, did I see a plane in the air? Enemy plane?
We got friendlies around us. We're strafing the field right now.
And speaking of that, there's a map option. You can click a button, and you can zoom in on this map so we can see what's really going on around us.
And on your views, if you're sitting in the cockpit, you can zoom and unzoom. Some of the guys have their joysticks and their throttles and their rudder pedals set up with all the buttons so they can do everything without ever touching the keyboard,
right,
which is that way we like to do it.
I've got this map zoom on the scroll wheel of my mouse.
Yep. And if you do Control F1, you get a list of all the commands if you forget what they are. And I can tell you, there's so many commands in this game and so much flexibility that a lot of us forget it periodically, because you can set up wingmen. You can tell the wingmen what formation to take. And of course, you haven't tried the bombers yet, but in bombers, we can take a B-24 and put 6 other guys in it with us as gunners, which is great fun.
And I was going to say that to anyone who wants to dip their toe in this and is a little intimidated, if you can catch a ride as a tail gunner on a bomber, they would appreciate you being back there, and it's very simplistic, and you can defend the bomber on a run.
And I just want your viewers to know, Jim, that we also have a World War I game we call Dawn of Aces. We have a M4 tank brigade, so we have tank battles periodically. In Warbirds regular, you can have tank battles, as we did on Sunday night. We had a mini event, and I got in my tank and killed 3 other enemy tanks, and then I jumped back in my airplane and captured a field. Because again, in this game, it's about capturing fields, but you don't capture it by blowing it up. That just closes a field. You actually have to bring an airplane with real troops and parachute them in to capture the field. Over.
So a lot of games are very arcade-like. This is actually very similar to what a real mission might be like, flying out to.
You know, that's why I love it. I was an A-37 Ford air controller. We did all these same kind of missions. We brought fighters in. We dropped paratroopers in. It makes me feel like home.
Now, did you fly T-28s?
I owned a T-28, and we used to go to air shows and show out off on a T-28. I actually left active military flying when I took an A-37 to the top of a maple tree, which I realized that maybe if you were getting a little older and you didn't have the reflexes you had when you were younger, maybe you should give up actual military flying. And 2 years later, I bought a T-28 and got to lead the formations at Oshkosh. It was great fun.
Nice. And I had mentioned to you earlier that we all went out to Oshkosh, the whole RCGroups team this year, and the amount of warbirds in the sky at one time, I'd just never seen anything like it.
Well, if you go again, you let me know, and I'll get you a few rides in T-28s.
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, we're talking about.
I know somebody. You know.
So Warbirds is online. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to jump in an airplane and go fight. To move up the tier to better airplanes, you do have to pay. What is it? $14 a month or something like that, Wild Bill?
For the first month, it's free. Then after that, if you want to keep all the airplanes, it's $13.95. If you take the regular standard play and you can fly 24/7, all the gas, all the bullets, all the killing you want to do. If you want the event plan, which allows you to get into the S3 and all the other events without charge, because normally if you are not an event plan, we charge you $1.99. But the event plan, you get that. You get special skins. Skin is a paint job. If you look on the map screen, you'll see in many airplanes 10 or 12 different squadrons or paint jobs for the various airplanes. So then we have a $24.95, which is a premium where they get discounts on Warbirds merchandise. They get special customer service. We give them free DVDs once a quarter if they ask for it, and they get to talk to me directly anytime they want to if I can help them out. So awesome. That's a 3 tiers.
Is there anything else we need to know? Have we sampled a little bit of everything here in this video so far?
I think there's 2 things you need to know. If you come in, you need to find Weiss or Wiltz or any of the trainers, because this is not easy. I said it's not for infantrymen once, because this takes flying skills. And a lot of people play games are looking for power-ups. There's no power-up here. If you can't get off the runway, you're going to run into that hangar and you're going to explode. So get a trainer.
And Weiss, that was me. I hit the page trainer button. I wasn't sure what would happen, and you jumped right on there.
Yep, that's what we do.
I love it. And the second thing is, find a squadron, and you don't have to stick with your very first squadron. When you come into the game, you're part of the 35th Flight Training Squadron, which is actually the training squadron I was in as a T-37 instructor pilot way back in the day at Reeds Air Force Base. And as you fly a little bit, we graduate you from that. And then find a real squadron. Swanee told you he was in the, who did you fly with, Swanee? I forgot.
New World Order. They were one that was created within the game. They're not based on a real life. There's I'd say maybe 3/4 were based on real life squadrons from World War II. Other ones are just made up ones from within the game. And I fly for both. The American Eagles were a real squadron, and that's who I fly with for the S3s. But in the main and general, I fly with the New World Order.
And Weiss and I flew with the 4th fighter group, which is a real fighter group. We had relations with that fighter group, and they still are around, although they're diminishing in numbers these days. So we really like to have people in the squadrons because you only can fly the S3 events, which are 5 Sunday nights every quarter at least, and sometimes a little more. And this coming Sunday, we start the new season, and we fly a B-29s against the best Japanese Zeros with P-51 fighter cover. So it'll be a great fun this Sunday night and for the next 5 Sunday nights. So that's all of it, Jim.
Awesome. So we can send everyone to warbirds.com?
No, sir. It's totalsims.com because we have a Warbirds, we have a World War I Dawn of Aces, we have M4 Tank Brigade, and we got a couple more coming behind this. We're going to do a Korean version of Warbirds. We're going to do a Vietnam version of Warbirds coming out.
All right. So totalsims.com. I sure appreciate everybody letting me ride along and showing us what this game is about. And Wild Bill, we appreciate you advertising on RC Groups. I had an idea today. We will not talk about it in the video, but I'll hit you when you get back later in the week.
Okay. I should be back in a couple of days, and I'll look forward to flying with you again soon, Jim. Thank you, Weiser. Thank you, Swanee.
My pleasure.
Anytime.
All right, everybody. Jim Graham, RC Groups, flying with Wild Bill and the crew at Warbirds, Total Sims. Thank y'all, and we will talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
Later.